Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Contactlost, our mini series round zero pairings for the WTC. We're in the last installment before the event. We've got the winners and the winners. Winners of the wooden spoon and the winners of the actual event. So for Team Poland, we've got Pumba. Hello.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure. And we've got Marios from Team Cyprus.
Hello.
Hey man, good to have you on as well. Right, so Marius, last year's event, it was the first time you guys attended. How did you find it? And yeah, how was it? Tell us all about it.
Um, I think we went in feeling okay, but realistically, post event and like recapping, it was definitely an overwhelming experience for us. Like most of the guys had very little experience, myself included. Like for some of the guys, it was their first 2 day event, 2 day plus event. So that's how inexperienced the team was last year. So we're looking to do better than last year, which would be basically getting our first win uh,
Mhm.
and handling ourselves better. I think would be the goal.
Right. So, did you have any immediate takeaways from the event other than just the team being inexperienced? Like, did you experience firsthand something that you can put to use? Any observations, stuff like that?
I think it was basically to put more hard work for this year's event, get some more practice in, and prepare ourselves better during this building. That was an issue we had last year, um, and I think we've had a better direction this year.
Okay, we'll talk more about it soon. Pumba, I think that asking the question if last year's results were satisfactory is but moot, just like in the case of Team Cyprus. But what do you think about last year's event?
Um, well, we won, so that was fucking great. However, it was very much felt that the field is growing stronger and stronger, and it's very obvious to see, especially looking from our position, where everybody is kind of looking at us as one of the strongest attendants. People are chasing and like catching up to us in a very alarming pace. Let's call it.
Mhm.
So we didn't sweep the event 7-0 or anything like that. We drew USA, who are probably our biggest rival this year as well, straight up. So while we won, we were very much aware that this is not in any way dominant, and we didn't feel dominant for like it is. We were the best in the room at that time, but given some other circumstances, it might have gone other way, right? So
Mhm.
we definitely focused on not um, how do you call it, not like giving up preparation or anything, just not letting down the foot from the gas pedal.
Mhm. Right. And did you have like any immediate takeaways? I want to say, but any thoughts about the other teams, about what you've done, what could have been maybe done better? I
I
know it's
think
hard to
the
answer
yeah
from perspective of a winner, but
I think developing the coaching staff even more, developing that part of the team to be more efficient, even more well organized. It was very good still, of course, but it is definitely something that we still keep improving in the team itself. Um, I actually, I think something controversial, but accepting the fact that you going to WTC, it's a snapshot of a meta, right? And
mm,
whilst you are kind of preparing for an entire year, you are probably catching that snapshot as we are now with like 2 months preparation, right? Let's call it 2 months. Um, Accepting the fact that you will miss something, you will not know everything, you will not be prepared for everything that comes up, and being adaptable in that sense, I think is also crucial. And we kind of learned that. We especially learned that when playing the US, where they had us kind of beat in pairings even.
Mhm.
But we did not know some stuff, and they also didn't know some stuff, and it came down to be a draw, right? So accepting the fact that you cannot learn or expect everything that comes across you. So being adaptable in that sense, I think.
Adaptable, but maybe a little bit more relaxed as well.
Relaxed is a big word. I think coming to terms with the fact that you will not find
Okay.
everything, you will not figure out everything, more like this.
Mhm. Right. Gotcha. Marius, why don't you tell us about team selection this year then? So, what was the process, and how many candidates did you have?
So for a community as small as ours, we actually had 14 people for the 7 spots, other than myself. We had a couple of tournaments to select the people, and unfortunately, we had a few drops, including
Mhm.
2 people dropping because of a wedding during WTC. 2 different weddings.
Terrible planning.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, we had to go to the backup options, which I mean, some of them weren't applying for the team to start with, and then they changed their plans to come with us. Um, but overall, we don't feel like the level dropped or anything because of that. So yeah, we like, and again, the fact that a community as small as ours was able to have that much of participation for the qualifiers uh, for the team, it's huge. Just shows that people are very eager to play in WTC.
Okay, cool. And so, how did you narrow down from the 14 people that you've had? Well, obviously taking out the 2 drops, down to the 7 people.
It was tournament based. Um, for next year, we're gonna expand it a little bit, but since we didn't expect a lot of people this year, it was just like a
Hmm.
couple of tournaments. Going forward, we'll expand it. We'll include some more TTS. I don't think we have the luxury like other teams do, where they focus on certain faction specialists, for example, and go from there. We have to go with, okay, these are our 7 best people, 8 best people. Uh, can we make it work with the armies that are likely to be played? Um, and again, it's basically a byproduct of having a small community. So we don't have like
Hmm.
5 people playing GSC, for example. Joker's going.
Yeah,
Um,
my computer's acting crazy, but I hope you can
no,
still hear me.
Yeah,
yeah,
we
we
I
can
can.
hear
guess
you.
you can. If you're laughing at that statement, that's fine.
But yeah, like we don't have the depth, so we have to go with, these are our best people. We'll make it work with the factions that they're good at or like they can transition to, and basically that's how we did it.
Right. Um, and what about Team Poland, Pumba? So, how many candidates were there for the team, and what was the selection process?
I am just now looking at our selection spreadsheet that we created around the time the selection process began, and I see we've had around 53, I think, people signed up for, or 54, 55 maybe, people that signed up for participation in the selection process, which doesn't necessarily, not everybody who signed up to that definitely go to WTC, for example, where they selected, but they participated in the entire process of doing international scrims, of going through army compositions, and like this is also a process that we do year by year, where we kind of try to incorporate as many people as possible into that process to like build our backend, to like build our community as a whole, to improve the base of our player and the average level of the community. so it's very important for us. Yeah, so that was around I think 53 people this year, which is kind of crazy and kind of awesome. And I think almost all, if not all, of these people were at least able to play one of the international scrims we've done. So that's pretty great.
Hmm. And how did that amount of people get narrowed down, and at which stages in time?
Stages in time. Time is very difficult in terms of selection process and WTC, because time is a circle, and it's been a year definitely. I would like to say it was around February or March. I think February, where we narrowed down our selection to, I think, around 16 people who were definitely in competition of getting into the actual team. And uh, after that, we selected the actual nine, which is crazy, by the way, um, as the starters for this year. And that was May, I believe. What we
Hmm.
did this year, which we really enjoyed the idea of, is creating a flex spot in the team. So we, instead of choosing the normal eight, we were able to select basically nine starters. Um, and the last person to join the team um, was basically chosen because of the armies they are playing, because what fits the team composition best, because what we need in the team at the time, right?
Hmm.
That was, by the way, I'm just gonna fucking jump in and say that was supposed to be either Crazy or Typhus, and I am apparently that person because the sons are good.
Well, it's a
So
very flexible spot.
it was a very flexible spot, but in all honesty, I think creating that flex spot as our selection process was absolutely crucial for the building our team composition this year. So it was very extremely helpful to have that.
Okay, and why not just postpone the selection of the final eight till later, for example, rather
Mm,
than thinking up of flex spots?
because of, I think, two main reasons. One is team building. Team building is absolutely real, and having that eight or nine or whoever, whichever many, however many people there might be in an actual team, I think it is very crucial that this becomes a team over time, not just a community or like a bunch of people playing in the same team together. So we need to develop communication skills between each other, how to test matchups, how to um, talk about matchups, armies, and etc. So it was very important for us to do that team building properly. So we needed time for that. And the second thing is keeping just a lot of people in kind of a limbo where they don't know if they will make the team, if they won't make the team, if they should plan their just vacation because it's the middle of summer, right?
Mm,
So I think those are the two most important reasons for doing it as we did.
okay, fair enough. Uh, Marius, back to you. I think last year when you were on, you mentioned that team events aren't really a thing or weren't really a thing. Has that changed over the last year? And did you get maybe a chance to play as Team Cyprus somewhere?
Um, we were able to travel internationally to Greece for a team event there.
Mm,
And then we did a couple of online ones, but that's pretty much it. The issue again is the size of the community. So trying to get a team event, even like a four-man team, it's kind of difficult. You will end up probably with like six teams,
mm-hmm,
uh, which I guess it's something, but then again, it's very limiting. We will be trying next year to attend bigger events, like Alpine, but it's also a matter of money. It's become quite expensive to travel out of Cyprus,
mm-hmm.
and so thankfully next year Austria is actually quite cheaper because it will be direct flight.
Mhm.
But yeah, like it comes down to economics and community size. Those are the two issues there. But we did try online, like a couple of Copenhagen ones, and then
Mhm.
yeah.
And did you play any like actual scrims, say 8v8 against any other team?
We did a couple after the after Paranexus dropped. After we locked lists as well.
Mhm.
We said not to do anything before that because we were also in limbo with like a couple of players if they're gonna make it or not. Um, so hopefully next year we'll be much uh, prepared and more prepared and better equipped to do that.
Okay, and did you do anything else in terms of preparation, like boot camps or anything of that sort?
Yeah, we basically because like our players are spread over the island, which theoretically it shouldn't be that far for any other country. It's like a hour drive basically to meet in the middle.
Mhm.
For Cyprus, it's considered a big drive. But so so last
Everything's
year,
relative, right?
yeah,
Do not tell
exactly.
do not tell that to Aussies or the US team, bro.
Yeah. Americans will drive like 7 hours and be like, it's a short drive. Um, but yeah, this year we were able to because we had some friends open a hobby store and they
Mhm.
carry GW products and stuff. And we had a, a spot where we could like practice on a weekly basis, and we did that the last 2 months. It was almost every Saturday we would either all almost all of us gather there or have a tournament, which much better than last year.
Oh, that sounds quite solid. Week
Yeah.
in, week out.
Mm.
Nice, good stuff. Right, Pumba, what about Team Poland? What events under the Team Poland banner? How did they go? Yeah,
So,
let's hold there for a sec.
um, the major one this year was two Pyro Cups organized by Myson, one of the selectors, where we attended, of course, both. One of them was in February, I want to say, where we invited a bunch of international teams again, and did this. Even Team USA attended, which was fucking amazing of them that they joined us in the middle of nowhere in Poland to play some 40k. Yeah, those were very, especially the earlier ones, were very much experimentational, experimental. Sorry, um, as in we, for example, we tried a lot of prospects out. We doubled with some weird choices in armies to see what works, what doesn't. We didn't do amazingly well from what I remember, but I honestly cannot recall the exact results. I know the US absolutely fucking crushed that event, by the way. That I remember very well.
Mhm.
Another one happened not long ago. That was strictly WTC prep event, which became second. Uh, Other than that, we attended the Eurotrash Cup in Netherlands as Team Poland as well, 8v8 teams, and also didn't do particularly super well. What I mean by not doing super well is there is definitely I think it's worth remembering that for us there's only one event in the year. uh, every other event, of course, we are trying hard as we can with the given circumstances, but it is important for us to test new things, to test prospects, to experiment, because this is our field to like actually um, face other teams at real tables and see what works, who works, etc. So this is invaluable for us to use those events as training camps, to grounds where we can test stuff out, where we can also expand our, as I've said, community and backline of players who will possibly be prospects for other years, right?
Mhm.
Um, Other than that, in terms of prep, we've done around 17 scrims over the last like 10 months, And as I've said, like 50 fucking people attended those. Also a huge part of our preparation and like community building. And of course, boot camps, as we've discussed. I think there were 2 major boot camps, maybe 3 major boot camps. Other than that, as we are split, like the Poland is not amazingly huge, but it's quite big. We usually split between 2, maybe 3 places, and quite regularly meet each other. So, like the south of Poland is usually playing in Krakow, where I live, and the other half is playing in Poznań, for example. To not drive across the whole country every other week. Which makes a lot of sense, right? Right.
Mm-hmm.
So those small boot camps are happening quite often. Oftentimes, even you could call our local RTT a boot camp, because the last one, I think, the one before or after Pyra, around 4 people from the national team attended just a local RTT with like 30 people in it. So it's a tough crowd. It's a tough field.
Yeah, but that also helps upping the average level, right? To what you've spoken about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a
That
good
is
thing that it's
basically what we
happening.
are trying to do. Yes.
All right. Marius, so when did the team become final? And although I believe we've sort of mentioned that already, and if you could say a couple of words about each and every player, like a short introduction.
So the team became final after the drops around, I want to say May. Uh, early June, late May. Um, but the core of the team has been pretty much in place since uh, early 2024, even December. As for the players, most of the guys are fairly new. Like I said, we carry a lot from last year actually. 6 people from last year, same, which is nice. And then we have 2 new people on the team. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You want me to go each player one by one? Okay. So
That's the
myself.
idea.
So it's myself, and then we have Tom. Tom will be playing Chaos Knights. He was on the team last year playing Eldar. Kind of a downgrade in the army level there. Uh, so then we have Nicolas. He'll be playing Thousand Suns. He was our Thousand Suns player last year. He did experiment with the 3 4 streams, 2 4 stream, 3 mutative list, completely independently from what the Americans and the Canadians were doing. We had no idea about that, but then we decided on a different list. We have Socrates playing Tyranids. He was a last minute switch from Orcs. Then we have Tofi. Tofi's going to be playing Necrons. He was a little bit out of the game for a little bit. He wasn't playing very much. He was going to be one of the coaches, and then because of the drops, he started playing again. And so we decided to go Canonic Court. We know Hypercrypt is the better solution, but we decided there it's a easier army for him to play. Who am I forgetting? I'm always forgetting people.
The hardest question you can be asked as a captain
Yeah,
is
no, I know.
who the fuck is your team?
Oh no, it's we have Leo. Leo was playing GSC last year. He's been playing CSM the last 2 years, and we had to switch to GSC last year, and it felt really bad for him. So we put him on CSM this year. He'll be bringing the Lone Corn Lord of Skulls for the end event. I'm forgetting someone. We have an old veteran of WTC in Alexander Kondakov. I think most people know him. He's been playing with Team Russia in the past. Alexander has been in Cyprus the last 2.5 years. He's been a big part of our community. He'll be playing Sisters, and I think I've mentioned everyone. Probably forgetting someone, and I'm gonna feel really, really bad. Yes, Alejandro. Alejandro's playing Space Wolves. Um, Alejandro. Funny thing with Alejandro has he's been in the hobby like 5 years now, and he's been only playing Blood Angels. And then Blood Angels are really, really strong this year, and we're like, you're playing Space Wolves, which quite funny. But we felt like the Space Wolves list fit more with the team. So those
That's
are the
fair.
editors. Those are the editors.
Incidentally, that's also what another team was thinking, but maybe we'll have a word on that when Pumba introduces the players of Team Poland and what they're bringing.
So I came prepared and just fucking opened the team in the other tab because I am about to get fucked. Starting us off, we have Skark. No, but I don't think Skark needs an introduction particularly to the WTC crowd. He's been a legend. He's been in the team almost every year since Paul has been playing. He's pretty good at the game apparently, so he still makes the team time after time again. He's playing Gunline CSM this time because Skark plays gun, and this time it's CSM gun because screw you, accursed cultist and other stuff. Just gun, good. Then we have Ghetto. Ghetto has been playing for as many years as I am, so this is his third year. He's obviously on Necrons because he's the faction specialist on Necrons, possibly the best or one of the best Necron players in the entire world. So he has a crazy Awakened Dynasty concoction, which nobody in the team understands, and hopefully nobody outside the team either. Then we have Leshu, also a veteran from the team, has been to many WTCs and ETCs, and this time on Custodes. Very much his style of army because he rolls like an absolute madman, and if there is one army that benefits a lot from rolling 4-ups like a fucking crazy man, it's that. So anybody who comes up against him and tries to kill any of those Warden squads, good fucking luck to you. I tried a lot of times and failed even many more. We have Myson, this year's selector as well. He's on Sisters, very fast, very aggressive army who's able to score big, very on brand with his like Harley fast gun shooting style of play. We've got Kruker, who is a newcomer sort of into the team, has been our coach and backup player for the last year. He was very close to making the team last year. This year has been even better for him in terms of play, in terms of his results. So he obviously made the team this year. He's on Space Wolves because after doing extremely well at Pyra Cup with Blood Angels and testing them extensively and smashing, for example, Ines Wilson 1911, he chose that fuck this, I like my Space Wolves way more. So good luck playing against that, by the way. I think that army is good. Contrary to popular belief. We've got Duda, who also a selector, great player, I think legendary player at this point as well. This time, instead of playing elves, he's switching to Imperial elves, so he's on Admec, elf flying, fast shooting, basically a bullshit army that a lot of people are not aware is bullshit. Then it's actually me, because I was supposed to be a non-playing captain, and here we fucking are. I guess when you need a wizard, you call a wizard. So I'm on T-Suns, because that army is pretty good, and it was very hard to make a team comp without it. So I will be playing again. And we are finishing up with Vladi, who is a veteran of the old guard, let's call it. He's been to also incredible amount of ETCs. With Skark attending, for example. He's back into the team this year. He's been out for a couple of years because of time and amount of effort you need to put into WTC prep. This year he is playing Grey Knights. He's an extremely versatile player. who's able to jump armies extremely fast. And he's been playing Rhaenys for a long time, months even. So I'm very interested in how it goes. NDK is good apparently still. I'm not sure. Maybe the opinions differ. And I think I covered everybody.
Good. So opening a tab does help. Marius, what's the expectation? What's the target for this year's event?
The target's definitely winning one round, and if we can do better than that, then so be it. But that is definitely the target: is getting our first win. Obviously, last year we were like, I think we are 2 points to get a draw. Um, we didn't. So this year we feel like the team is more prepared. The armies we've selected are better this year, and the lists are. We feel better with the lists. Last year we felt good with the list going in because we had no idea what was going on, and then post tournament we're like, okay, like half the list should have been different. So yeah, get a win.
Okay, and do you have any teams you want to beat, get that win against, or not played enough opposition to have
Yeah,
grudges yet?
yeah. We definitely don't have a grudge with anyone. We've prepared for some teams that we expecting to see after the pods. We'll see how it goes.
All right. So Pumba, obviously defending the title, right? There can't be any
Obviously
other
defending the title.
target.
I mean, that's definitely the goal. It is actually, however, an extremely ambitious goal. Let's not beat around the bush. As I've said, that spot was hard fought, and it will be even harder defended. I think our absolute par, I think, is making it onto the podium. I think that is par for us this year. But obviously, defending the title is the ultimate goal, and we will be trying for it.
Right on. Right. So, what do you guys think about playing the WTC in essentially a new edition? Right. That's what we've had last year. We've got a 10.5 edition sort of this year. So, what's your attitude? What's your take on the fact that there's so many rules drops just before the rules cutoff, whereas you're preparing for the whole year, right? Marius, what's your take?
So it had some positives and some negatives, I believe. Negatives is like last minute army changes. Some of the positives were last minute army changes, though. Like post late, we felt like some armies could be played better, um, and actually some of them fit our comp much better than the previous armies. It's definitely though a difficult process. It's a reset for the most part. Like if the missions hadn't dropped and it was just a slate, then you're like, okay, um, the landscape changes a bit, but the game doesn't fundamentally change. At this point, though, like a lot of things change. Like having the secondaries change, having the primary change. It's quite big. Um, I I think most of us enjoy some aspects of Pariah Nexus better than Leviathan. Uh, in some cases, it's a little bit worse. But what can you do? I think at this point it will most likely be a yearly occurrence. So we just have to accept that and adapt.
And do you have any favorite changes from Pariah Nexus or from the recent data slate?
I think we really like the tyranny changes as far as army goes. And as far as the game goes, Pariah Nexus, I think the secondary, some of the secondary changes are much make they make the game healthier in my opinion. Capture enemy outpost gone. Investigate signals essentially changing to containment. It's better, and then having a couple of secondaries being auto removed if your opponent doesn't have it again makes the game cleaner. Uh, it makes the random draw fairer. Where you had a case where you drew behind enemy lines and capture enemy outpost in Leviathan round one, and you're shit out of luck. Unless you were playing Eldar. Yeah, so we like those. We like those changes.
Okay. And would you say it's a good thing in terms of can you guys adapt quickly to the changes, or would you rather not have that so you have like more benefit from the work you've already put in through the year?
In some aspects, because a lot of things pretty much stayed the same, we were okay with the changes. And like I said, in some, like in other aspects, I think it helped us. For example, we were pretty much going to play Iron Storm before the changes, and I think the Stormlands Space Wolves that we're playing fits better, and it actually helps our player play the list better. So we like those changes. So it did throw a wrench into like all the preparation, but it I think it ended up improving the team. If that makes sense.
Sure, totally does. Pumba, what about your take on it? The introducing a new edition just before the rules cutoff. How do you feel about it?
So, Team Poland has famously done pretty well with edition changes and with rules changes. I think we are extremely good in adapting, with finding broken stuff, with testing it out, with putting something on tables that works or catches people off guard. So I think it's a straight up an advantage for us that the rules changed so rapidly before the event, because I think we are quite good at as we are saying, adapting to changes and new additions and developing stuff that isn't obvious, for example. Why? It's hard to say. I think innovative ideas, I think the experience of some of our players, they've done this for a long time and they've seen so many addition changes that are like coming up with new ideas and like searching data sheets, searching rules, finding interactions is kind of second nature to them. And I think what we've done with communication in the team, where we can confront ideas without the need of always putting them on the table, for example, and verifying it in that way also, which saves a lot of time, and I think is kind of crucial because unfortunately time is a finite resource, which and everybody is running out very quickly, especially before WTC. So yeah, overall, very positive that this happened. Second reason for us will always be the visibility of the event. We would never like to. It was the same case last time where there was a vote held if we were going to be playing still the 9th edition, the end of 9. And I think if that was the case, we would have been. It would be very hard to make WTC marketable in any sort of way. And it would be a real shame for the quote-unquote Olympics of 40K to not get enough viewership or attention from anybody because the game already moved on so much. And I think would happen exactly the same this time. Today, literally today, we've seen another changes done to the game. So imagine we were playing like 2 patches behind from that. It's kind of insane, right?
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Especially if there was a new, like, imagine right now it's a week before the event and you're still playing Leviathan. Nobody has played Leviathan for a month, right? Who would care? So that's a big issue, I think.
Yeah, totally. I mean, we can't be having yesterday's news, right?
That's
At
what I
the
mean.
event. Mm-hmm. And do you have a favorite change?
We have the favorite change. Hard to say. I agree with Marius that the needs changes are extremely interesting to me. Something that maybe came up that we weren't considering. Admech changes, right? I think Admech definitely would have not been an army that we were remotely considering before those changes happened, and now they're in the 8th, so that was a great boon that we could like explode this army. Yeah, I think I would stick to that actually.
Okay.
Admech changes would be my favorites, yes.
Okay, interesting. Right. Marius, are you guys playing the War Masters event as well? The singles. Is anyone playing, or do you advise against it? Maybe.
Actually, we advised for it because getting practice against like opponents we don't usually play would be super beneficial. So we actually told everyone, if you can, play, but it will just be me and Alexander playing War Master.
Okay, and
yeah, it was definitely advisable to play, I think.
And you're using the team's events list, presumably.
Yeah.
Right, so just getting more reps in.
Yeah.
Okay, good stuff. Pumba, what about for Team Poland? What's the attitude towards the singles event?
The general idea is not many people actually consider from the proper team are considering going to the War Masters. I've had one request, I think. And the general policy is we are not playing our team's lists in the War Masters event. Nobody's forbidden to attend, but they definitely are forbidden to attend with the team's list. It is way too much info to be giving out so early, because spying is absolutely real, by the way. And I think it was Anthony Vanilla who said that people who don't understand why like people are hiding lists and everything goes silent for a month are literally not understanding the extent of which the development and the army composition and stuff is happening. And it's absolutely real, and it happens every time, and everybody's surprised that some of the ideas that come up from that period of time throughout the year. So we don't want to give too much information, of course. I think the main reason not many of us are attending is just straight up costs, and also the fact that we are trying to gun for the title. So the preparation and the getting your reps in, we are trying to do right now, and playing 7 games of extremely competitive, extremely hard Warhammer at the highest level is going to be tiring enough. So attending War Masters and getting another 5, possibly more games in, would be kind of suicide in that sense. It's a lot of Warhammer to put in a week.
Definitely is. Definitely is. But some people enjoy it. Madmen.
I think a lot of people would enjoy it. I would love to play War Masters, for example, if I were not attending WTC, right? That event as a singles event, I think you cannot go a lot wrong with War Masters. Like, it's fucking amazing. So I completely get that. And especially for people that are coming like from Australia or New Zealand or overseas, right? The ability to play with the European crowd. Well. Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a very different vibe between us, which we can attend European events wherever we want to, Alpine Cup, what have you. For people coming from other continents, especially, right, from overseas, a huge opportunity and I think to play that event.
Yeah, and the cost scales differently, right, as well. So it could be a factor.
Absolutely.
Right, let's move on to the comedy relief question. Last year we were discussing national birds and how they fare against each other. This year we're focusing on cuisine. So according to Google, a margarina buli is a traditional Cypriot, I think is the adjective, meal. Marius, do you confirm or deny that statement? And what is it?
Marius has no fucking idea.
Okay. Margarina buli. It's apparently made of bucatini pasta and chicken. And
Though,
I might just be saying it wrong.
no, I think googling it shows me like that's a restaurant.
No, there's definitely
No,
a dish like that. I can see
yeah,
it.
no, I'm
Looks fucking
googling
dope,
it.
by the way.
No, like I would tell you to Google souvla, Souvla.
Classic. Classic.
Uh, that is a
Oh yes, that
barbecue.
looks good.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's a barbecue. It's either lamb or pork, and this is like if there were Olympics for this, Cyprus would go have gold, silver, and bronze. Uh, um,
Okay. Okay. Bold
Mm,
no,
statements.
yeah, no,
nice.
it's you leave it there for like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and it's perfect.
It's interesting how many countries actually have their own barbecuing thing when asked about national dishes. That would be very, very tight competition. Maybe we should do a WTC in that. Pumba, what do you think about what's the Polish national dish?
I don't know,
Is
Joker.
it
Well,
schabowy?
you tell me.
Is it pierogi? Or
Is
do
it
you want to
pierogies?
pull the grill out?
Is it pierogies? I think it might be pierogies, right? As in the
According
whole
to some,
Poland. I think I would stick to pierogies because like schabowy is basically Wiener Schnitzel, but a variation.
yeah.
I think I would stick to pierogies because there are a lot of like local dishes, but throughout Poland, I think the main one you can find anywhere is pierogies. I would stick to that, and they are fucking amazing, by the way. The completely different style than anything you can find elsewhere. Maybe Ukraine or like Belarus or Russia have similar styles. But it's
Pierogi are great,
ours.
despite what Danny would say. That's why he'll never be truly Polish that way. Okay, Marius, where can we follow, if at all, follow Team Cyprus? Any social media that you've got set up, and any sponsors you want to mention that support you in reaching the event in Belgium?
So we have the Team Cyprus Facebook page. That is okay. Like lately, we've haven't been updating it enough, but throughout the event we will be, and throughout the qualifiers we usually are. As far as sponsors go, we have two. It's the guys who own the shop I mentioned earlier, and a friend who has a 3D print shop that has helped us throughout the process of getting the armies ready for WTC. So those are two sponsors.
Cool, great stuff. Pumba, what about Team Poland?
Team Poland has a great and working Facebook page. I believe the biggest Facebook page throughout the 40k world in terms of teams, by the way, and we are very active. There will be coverage of the event done by our media person. We will be holding it, of course, in English as well, so you can follow Team Poland to see how we are doing. Um, and of course, if you don't want England to win, for example, maybe support us. I do recommend. We have some sponsors who helped us get to the event and not absolutely break the bank. One of them is Hegemon Shop. They are also one of the sponsors for the WTC itself. Check them out. We have Puppets War, who are providing us with some models and also helping us dilute the costs of going. They have a lot of models, STLs, 3D prints, what have you. Check them out. They are great. As well as war tiles who are doing markers and all those other dongles that you can find and use in your games, which are very helpful. And I think they are actually very popular throughout the world because I constantly see them on like YouTube games or anything. Constantly happens. Highly recommended, all of them. And thank you for them for allowing us to go without spending an absolute fortune on it.
All right, thank you. And we will be wrapping up the episode with that. So thank you guys for joining in. As always, I would like to thank our sponsors, the Army Painter and Weyland-Yutani, as well as our community of Patreons. And if you like what we do, please make sure to like, subscribe, and all that jazz. Pumba, Marius, thanks for coming in and talking about your teams. And good luck at the event, and we'll see you there in just over a week.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you. See you guys.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.